In this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a painting like this in just a few short minutes. Coming right up. I'm going to go ahead and take my large size brush here. And I've got blue and white on my plate. Now, typically with these paintings, I like to start with the furthest thing back and work my way forward. That way you don't have to outline every single little detail. So let's go ahead and start with our sky and get used to this paint. I'm going to go ahead and just put some plain blue right on this brush. As you can see, not much is needed. Just putting a little bit of blue on here just to give it a good, nice little dousing. I'm going to start on the top right up here and just, make my way around. I don't have to do this back and forth technique. I can just kind of just mess around with the paint and just spread it out. Now you're more than welcome to paint your edges. I leave that entirely up to you if you want to do that. That's some artists do, some don't. Alright, but I'm going to take this all the way across the very top. And what I'm doing is taking this as far as I can go without putting any more on my brush. Basically, it's just to extend the paint out and also to let it dry faster. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more. And you can see it is just coming together. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, as you can see. And I'm still, once I've lost all that paint on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more on there and just keep this thing going, keep the flow going. Alright, I'm not too worried about like lines or any perfection. This is just some background stuff right now. This is a 16 by 20 canvas, so there is a lot of room on there. And as you can see, I'm just extending that paint as far as I can go. And I'm probably going to take it like right about down here. And as you can see, this is coming out pretty nicely. Now I want to add some separation in the sky, so the easiest way to do that is with clouds. I'm going to take that same brush. It's okay if there's some blue on there. I've got plain white on my plate, and I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of plain white on there. And I'm just going to practice with this color. So let's go ahead and just add some nice separation. I'm going to maybe just add some clouds. Now I'm doing this by blotting or dabbing this brush. And as you can see, we've got some cloud formations starting to come. Now what I'm going to do is once that dries a little, I'm going to add more and more layers. And you'll start to see these clouds come to life. So now I've given it a few moments to dry off. Let's see how much of a difference just giving it just a little bit of time, just being patient with it, can actually pay off for you. I'm going to go ahead and just add some white on top of this cloud and take the white paint as far as I can go. I don't even have to look at it. I'm just dabbing and blotting, making imperfections in that sky and just seeing how far I can actually take it. But the more I'm dabbing, you can see, and taking it further, the more you start to have these awesome imperfections start to come out, and this contrast. It's really a fun step. So you see these highlights now start to come into your cloud effect. Alright, let's go ahead and just work maybe some of these guys right here. Look at this. Putting some white on there, letting it just kind of soak in on its own. Sometimes you don't want to extend it too far. Leave some of those highlights, leave some of it just kind of showcasing and making it look really pretty. Look up here, this one's really kind of wet still. You can start to see some of the paint either that's wet in certain areas or drier in others. You be the judge. But again, I'm like just using the same brush. That white tends to turn light blue because it's soaking into the blue. But as you can see, I'm like twisting the brush. I'm not, you know, keeping it steady. I'm like moving it all over in every different direction, and that helps make those imperfections. All right, let's add some highlights up on this guy, and then we'll move on to some other steps. We'll let this nice little sky dry out a little bit, and if you ever need to, you can always come back to your sky and just keep adding more and more detail. All right, but for now, we'll keep moving on. But I just wanted to at least show you like the basics of how to, you know, make your clouds, make some atmosphere, and then even so you can take it down below and you can, you know, I've seen artists kind of just blend it in the bottom, you know, whatever you want to do. We're going to add some different greenscapes and some cool stuff going on here anyway. So for now, I'm just kind of just taking the rest of the paint off of my brush. And sometimes you might get bristles on there, just scoop it off. Sometimes I leave the bristles in there just to make it look like it was hand painted. I leave that up to you, whatever you want, but check it out. You can see highlights, lowlights, imperfections. It wasn't too difficult, but now we're going to move on to some of our land eventually, and then we'll get our water. We're going to map this painting out and get this done for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit of blue and mix it in with some green, and that will make some turquoise. Now blue is going to be the most powerful out of the two, so that will saturate because blue is one of our primary colors, so it's going to overtake that green, but it makes a really, really pretty color. So we're going to go ahead and just come over here, and I'm going to take this brush and just start making some, I don't know, like little tops, almost of like little triangles, but I'm going to go ahead and just come up into the sky a little bit, just a little bit. I want to leave some room still. But you're able to make some hills whatever you like, and then you just bring some of that paint down. For time purposes, I actually cheated and I actually put some brown on my plate. Now if I was to actually use the colors that I typically use, I would just, if I needed to make my own brown, really all you do is you mix red and yellow, which makes orange, and then you can add a little bit of black to it and that makes your brown. So, but this time, like I said, I've got my brown paint on there, and I put just a little bit because I'm still going to use this white paint, and I'm just mixing a little bit of brown. I want this beach to be a pretty light sandy color. All right. Now once I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and just make a thin strip of this nice brown coming out here. And as I come around here, I'm going to loop this out, and I'm going to make some brown go around here. I'm going to make this beach kind of just look like it's coming out at us. Alright, so now what I've decided to do is just add a new color to my plate. I've got yellow on there. This is actually going to make our water a little bit more tropical. You'll see what I mean as we go along with this. So let's go ahead and we're going to make some of that turquoise again. Remember how we did that? We did some blue and some green, and we just mixed it up together. Now what we're going to do is add yellow in the mix. Okay, that's going to change the dynamic of this. Okay, and now we're going to add some of this awesome, we're going to take some of that off our plate and add it into some white. This will make an awesome, beautiful color. You're going to see this like really shine here. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of just make our tropical water. Let's go sideways here. And as you can see, it is beautiful as can be. And I'm starting away from the sand because as this starts to dry off my brush, I do want this water to eventually start fizzling off, and I'd want to make it at least a little bit lighter. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more white on my brush, and look at this. Wow, that is just so awesome. We've got some like turquoise water going here. Just a really pretty color. Remember, nature's not perfect, and we use that to our advantage when we're doing all these paintings. You can just break the heck out of them up. And now what you can start doing is adding these spikes and just different palms that are going on in this randomness of this jungle. So work on this for a little bit, break it up, add some depth, and as you can see, I'm just adding more and more in just different areas. You don't want to make the whole thing dark. You want to just kind of break it up a little bit. And then you can even just go back to some of your original colors, your greens and things, and just add little highlights just coming through some of the palms that you made, and break those low lights up. Look at that. See, I'm adding some green within there, and that changes it. Adds little highlights within there. And I'm using the same brush. I haven't taken that out or anything like that. And there you go. I'm just going to just quickly break this apart for you so you can see the end result of what that does.